Eh,
Kami rin na may bigyan mo ng background.
ciao, Romea!
Ciao! Ciao, Rosie. Welcome.
Yes! Boy, greets you!
Ciao. Ciao, Terek.
Ciao, Rome.
Ciao, Edith. Ciao, Clarita. Ciao, Tina.
Ciao,
Ciao,
Romea!
Telma. Ciao, Cecil.
Ciao, Romea!
Ciao, Rose.
Yan, yan.
Ocolari of Cebu, welcome. Noli of Davao.
Ciao, Rome.
Ciao, ciao, Ging Fajardo.
Greets.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. How is everybody? It's nice to see everyone. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. I am Jenny Bulan, your host from the province of Rizal.
Magandang hapon at ako naman si Gio Francisco, your host from Las Piñas in Metro Manila. Welcome to the New City Day 2021.
That's right, Gio. Every year, New City Philippines holds this annual gathering to live a brief moment of communion. This is our second online gathering under pandemic. Recalling what happened last year, the highlight was the launch of the New City audio magazine. Unfortunately, we had to stop printing the magazine and tried to find ways to get New City to our subscribers and followers. It was the pivot the publishers deemed appropriate. And so this afternoon, we will update you about how printing the audio magazine has fared and where New City is headed.
Is that the purpose of this afternoon? I thought we were launching a political coalition for the elections. That's why I got all dressed up. I'm just joking. No, it's just that some Zoom meetings are like that nowadays. Kidding aside, even during this pandemic, it's good to know that we can still continue with this once-a-year appointment through virtual means, and it will not require us to go through heavy traffic or book a flight just to be in the same event. I remember what our editor-in-chief Jose told us last year. He told us this story about Kiara recounting a time when she rode a plane. She was shown the cockpit and saw the unobstructed, beautiful 180-degree view.
Yes, that's right. Everything became even clearer when the pilot explained that before taking off, he sets the compass to their destination. During the flight, he makes sure to keep his eye on the compass so as not to go off course. Kiara related this to our life's journey. She said we must set the compass of our soul and remain faithful to this goal. The plane travels in a straight path where there are no mountains to obstruct its flight. She likened that to our love for the forsaken Jesus that places up there in that altitude immediately. Collectively, with everyone's gaze focused on that destination, with Jesus in our midst, we shall overcome all these painful events because whatever is unforeseen and difficult have already been foreseen and expected in Jesus forsaken.
Wow, no, how prophetic. I also remember our keynote speaker, Lawrence Chong, Global CEO of Consulus, mentioned that the audio magazine is a good start and that there are myriad other ways to go beyond the traditional forms of what makes a magazine. He mentioned that we must not lose sight of that premise, that first intuition of Kiara Lubick for a New City, which were twofold, as a path of fraternity and as a tool for dialogue at all levels. Did you know, that the first issue was a newsletter that was mimeographed and was entitled La Rete? It is Italian for the net. So how interesting it is that many years later, that newsletter is now the New City and is on the internet.
What an interesting walk down memory lane, Gio. It's something worth living, noting. I believe nothing happens by chance. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely, Tita Jenny. God always has a purpose for everything. And on this note, let us formally welcome our guests to this afternoon's annual meeting. We have participants from many parts of the country and around the world. Maybe we can start with our friends here in the Philippines. Can we have a show of hands of those coming from Mindanao? You can click the raise hand button or the reaction button or greet via chat.
Or wave.
Or yes, definitely you can also wave. Yeah, all right. Maybe we can also hear from our friends who are in Visayas. Yeah, we can see the show of hands and the waves and the smiles. All right. And also our friends here from Luzon. The different parts of Luzon, ayan, they're raising their hand. They're also waving. Wow. And I guess we also have friends outside of the Philippines. Maybe you can also give us a shout out or a greeting. Ayan, there are also some who are raising their hands. Wow. So
Yep,
this is really possible, no? Thanks to the internet.
Yeah, ang galing. It's nice to see you here where we are in Calabarzon. The sun is shining and it's a nice weather. I hope it's the same in where you are. Sa inyo, Gio, how is it?
It's the same weather also. Hopefully it doesn't rain so hard, unlike the previous days were like that, no? So we hope it will be a good day for all of us. Because as you know, the internet connection here in the Philippines, it's dependent on the weather also.
Yeah.
So it's also important that it's a bright day for everyone.
That's good. Actually, it's really nice to see that we're all this big family gathered in this virtual hall. Imagine, now we don't have to go all the way to Tagaytay to be together or to Santa Mesa or to Progreso. We can all be together here, right here where we are. So on that note, as we begin, let us entrust this afternoon to the Heavenly Father. Please join me in welcoming our Associate Editor, Jonas Lardizabal, for the invocation.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. A prayer for journalists from St. Francis de Sales. Almighty God, strengthen and direct, we pray, the will of all whose work it is to write what many read and to speak where many listen. May we be bold to confront evil and injustice. Understanding and compassionate of human weakness, rejecting alike the half-truth which deceives and the slanted word which corrupts. May the power which is ours for good or ill always be used with honesty and courage, with respect and integrity, so that when all here has been written, said, and done, we may unashamed meet thee face to face. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
So thank you, Jonas. We're waiting now for video to be shown. A little patience.
Sorry, it doesn't allow me to share screen.
Gio. We're supposed
Yes,
to
no, we're waiting for a
stretch.
video to be shown. It's okay, no. I'm sure
Yeah.
this happens sometimes, no. The share screen option is very virtual. It's something that is this time of the pandemic. And I think it's on now. No? Someone was able to share screen. All right.
Are you tired of the anger in today's society? Of the divide that's hard to mend? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Because there are so many people out there who are actually working to help make humanity closer. And we at New City Press Philippines offer a platform for true dialogue. The Focolare movement, founded by Kara Lubick, inspires the work of New City in promoting the unity of the human family. As Jesus prayed, Father, may all be one. First issued in June of 1966, today New City publishes a variety of books and 10 issues of New City magazine each year, with award-winning articles on some of today's most challenging topics, whether about the abuse crisis, the economy, ecology, and more. New City magazine readers, friends, and supporters come from various faith, cultural, and political backgrounds. New City gives an avenue for all perspectives to be represented and conveys hope that a real city and community of people could live together in friendship and cooperation. New City highlights the positive impact made by ordinary and extraordinary people who have accepted the challenge of bringing unity into their families, cities, and workplaces. And if you wish to join us in our mission to spread the culture of unity, you can support us by subscribing to New City. It's simple to find us. You can visit our website at newcityph.net.
Let's now welcome our co-director of the Focolare movement, Nar Plaras, for the opening remarks.
Thank you, Gio. Thank you, Jenny. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. No? It is indeed my great honor to welcome you to our New City Day 2021. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are also pleased to welcome in a special way those of you that have been with us for years, as well as those who are new and who are joining us for the first time. We have been overwhelmed by the concrete love and continued support we have received, not only from the members of the Focolare, but to all. And for this, we would like to offer our sincere and immense thanks to everyone who has sustained New City and all its endeavors all these years. With much appreciation and gratitude to the unconditional dedication of many, and for the relationship that has been built all these years with you, who generously sustained the operation of New City and bring ahead its mission, especially during these challenging and trying times of pandemic. This gives us the push, strength, faith, and hope to continue what Kara Lubick, the founder of the Focolare movement, had in her heart, that New City continues to strive to be faithful to this goal, to be a pathway of fraternity, a means of dialogue at all levels, and an instrument of communion and oneness. With Andrew and the whole New City editorial board, we look forward to a more intense collaboration among the branches of the Focolare movement to make New City going and fulfill its mission. Thank you so much. And once again, a warm welcome to all. And I wish you a beautiful, blessed, and fruitful afternoon. Indeed, a moment of family among us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nar. No? I think we can all give a virtual clap for NAR at this point. Even if it's not heard, it can be seen with our reactions or our mere clapping of hands from home. Thank you very much, NAR. It's very nice what you said, that you remain faithful to the mission of New City, and that includes being an instrument of communion and oneness, which in a polarized world is very important and can really be of great contribution. But we will need, as you said, a more intense collaboration among the branches. And it's nice that we're all here. And it's nice that we can update ourselves of what New City is up to and what direction it wants to take. So let's take advantage really of this afternoon's gathering to enrich ourselves, to be also part of the mission of New City in this aspect. Thank you. Thank you. Now we want to ask you, it's also your turn after hearing also from NAR and also your thoughts of being with New City over the years. We want to ask you a question. What do you believe is the mission of New City, especially in troubled times? I will repeat the question. What do you believe is the mission of New City, especially in troubled times? Now, we will allow everyone to have the chance to answer through Menti. So we will send a link here in the chat. You can just click the link and fill in your answer with, I think the limit is 250 characters. So you can do that. We'll give you enough time to answer this question. So what do you think is the mission of New City during this time? How about you, Tita Jenny? What do you think is the mission of New City?
Wait lang. I'm thinking we should shout from the rooftops with our lives. Can I write that down?
Yeah, yes, of course. Yes, you can. To shout from the rooftops. And we're very excited to hear what others think also. Some are answering through chat, to unite people in love and hope. Yes, thank you. Marian from Juan. It's really a nice question to ask ourselves, What is the mission of New City? And what can we do to contribute to that mission? I think towards the end of this program, we will get to answer that also. All right.
Yeah, because
some answers are coming in.
Yes. We're going to see the diba?
Yes. In
the
a short while,
we'll
see.
See.
Yeah.
So for those who just tuned in, you can click on the link. It's in the chat right now. You just click there, and then there's a box. You can type in a phrase or a word, not too long, up to 250 characters only.
Yeah. It's like Twitter.
Yeah.
With the limit on the characters. All right, maybe we can already show some answers. All right. We have a couple already of answers here, and they're very interesting. I'm reading them along.
Here on the chat, it says it's a way to link generations, inspiration. The one of Lirio and Mingoy is not complete yet.
All right, can you see now some responses on the screen? All right, so there are many answers. It varies, but actually towards the same direction, giving hope, inspiration, building bridges among people of various creeds, to be a source of encouragement to all out there who are isolated. Then you have serenity.
On the chat, marami din, to spread the good news of the ideal, to give hope in this time of pandemia. Intergenerational and spiritual bonding.
Wow, Dito naman sa Menti meter, we also have to be the voice of the greatest love and light for all. And I think the emerging word, really from Menti and chat would be hope, to offer hope, at such during these troubled times. All right.
Here,
We're seeing
here on
more
the chat,
answers.
parang ano, Gio, on the chat, parang the dominant thing is linking relationships, something like that.
Oh, that's also nice. No? Yeah, it's also appeared here somehow, like to connect people, to sharing of beautiful experiences. It's really to provide a platform to that, to spread light and love, no, in this time of darkness. A lamp lit up in the dark. Very, ano tayo, no? Very
Wow.
analogic,
Makata.
no? A lamp lit up in
Poetic.
the dark. Yeah.
Since, you know, we're actually, this exercise, it's like we're discovering, new writers. I'm kidding. Baka they won't
Why
write
not?
anymore.
Yeah. Oh, this one, New City can be the catalyst for one to open up in generosity towards the brother.
Nice.
Something interesting.
How many are we? Do you see how many we are?
I think
Present
now
here
in
now?
Zoom we're 160, 159.
Wow.
All right. So, and then we already received responses in Menti around 45, and the others are replying through chat. I'm sure there are also those responding via the Facebook Live comment section.
Oh, yeah. I'll read some more from here, from the chat group. The best proposal to live a life to the fullest. There's evangelization, life giving through press. That's nice. To participate in the recreation of environment and a call to action to live life to the fullest. Oh, agent of hope. Nice one.
All right. So thank you very much, for your responses. I think it's us also who got inspired by what you said, and really an assurance that we are on track, and we can continue being in that direction that we are called to be. Thank you, everyone, for your responses.
Thanks for your participation. So now the pandemic has accelerated the shift of our way in doing things to the digital landscape. I'm sure some of you here have changed your way of purchasing essentials via online shopping from apps or live selling, yung mga Facebook Live. Can we have a show of hands here of people who have their items already added to cart, ready for the 9/9 sale?
Baka meron na,
Do you do that? Ako, I put things in the cart, and wait for the sale, mga free shipping, gano'n.
Regardless of the app, right? Because everyone now, most shopping apps have the sale on the same digit dates, So 112299. On the plus side, I'm sure we have made friends already in the person of the one who delivers the items to us, Maybe some of you have already personal contacts with them. Suke, But I have to agree with you, Tita Jenny. In fact, studies show that all generations have increased the use of their gadgets in this time of pandemic. And that's not just for shopping, but also for streaming preferred shows, gaming, and also social networking. So this brings us now to the update of our media master, who is also Filipino, but from Serbia. He will talk to us about how the audio magazine has fared thus far. Friends, please welcome Mr. Edward Ilustrisimo.
Magandang araw sa ating lahat na nakaantabay nandito sa event na ito. And my name is Edward, and today I'm going to present to you this part of the program, which is Digital New City, Pandemic and Beyond. So I had to retitle the whole thing and call it just Our Experience Together, Lessons and Dreams. But of course, it's related to the audio magazine. I'm going to try to make it quick because sabi sa akin, I only have like around 5 minutes. So hindi naman sa magmamadali ako, but I'll try to. All right. So yes, our baby is already 1 year old. At salamat sa lahat ng tumulong for New City Audio Magazine. Umabot tayo ng 1 year. So today I'm going to talk about the results that we were able to have now with 1 year. So how did it go? Kamusta ang first year? So at first year, umabot tayo ng 500, our goal was to reach 500 subscribers, pero nalampasan natin. Umabot tayo ng 838 subscribers. So maraming salamat sa inyong lahat na tumulong at tumulong sa amin para maging umabot tayo ng 838. Hindi ko ina-expect yun talaga. So, sunod is for the past 1 year, we had a total of 12,406 listening minutes. So, just divide that by 60 minutes each. So, yun, ilang hours ang pinakinggan over the audio magazine. And we had an active listener base of 747. So, yun, that's for the past year, no? So, relatively, we performed good. And yes, we can still improve, and that means that we got to step up a little more. No? So let's take a step backward, of course, to try and evaluate what we have and take 2 steps forward in the future with what is beyond. No? So lessons and opportunities. During this, the New City opportunity and experiment of the audio magazine arrived during the pandemic. No? So alam nating lahat yan. And so looking at the statistics, at the data, we can still see that there's a lot of space for improvement. So how can we improve the audio magazine? So pinakauna, we can encourage our friends to download the app. So ang pinakauna na dyan, just to be honest with everyone, we only have like around 2/5 of the total subscribers who have downloaded the app. So of the 838, roughly 2/5 lang yung naka-download nun, or even 3/5. Ganyan. So ang main reason nun is ang karamihan ay mga sponsored na mga subscribers. We tried to email them, pero siguro hindi nila nabasa ang email or just a lot of factors. So hindi sila naka-download. So if you have sponsored some of those listeners, kindly tell them na mag-download naman sila for them to be able to try it. No? And then number 2 is to understand our audience better. So we have to employ a little bit of marketing and understand what do our listeners and readers really like, what interests them to listen to, so that we can serve them what they need. No? So yun, if there's a need, we can serve them better, if we understand those needs. Number 3, which I espouse like right now, is experiment. So quote unquote experiment with paid advertising if our budget permits. Kasi if we can do this, we can reach out to more people who are outside of the movement, or people who have goodwill and are interested with the message that the audio magazine has. No? So let's see, because we can, like in Facebook, we can create lookalike audiences, and we can share it to people who have similar interests with those who are already subscribed. No? So we can do that and then find out, who knows, no? Baka may mga tao nga talaga outside of the movement who we can reach out to and bring this message of the audio magazine. Next is we can craft a way to promote the audio magazine tracks individually to increase listens. No, there's a term for that, listens. And finally, we can also improve the quality of the tracks. So our dear friend Kuya Rome, he's already asking, or he already asked us if it would be a good idea na makagawa tayo ng sarili nating recording studio or something like that. Because we bootstrap this whole thing, kaya dahil nga everyone is working remotely. So most of our voice artists, salamat sa patience nyo at sa perseverance, kasi nagre-record sila from the phone, and as you would all hear in the audio magazine, hindi lahat ng audio levels pare-pareho, no? Because our voice artists, they give time to record, pero yun nga, minsan there are environments that have harsh noise behind them, like mga asong tumatahol, mga nag-aaway-away ng mga pusa sa bubong, mga ganun. So, sometimes hindi natin maiwasan yun. So, if there's a way that we can improve the quality of the tracks, we can make everything better. No? So, there's a special request that I would like to ask from all of you. Kasi we also see a window of opportunity via the Word of Life. No? There are a lot more people since the Word of Life app, audio app, via Soundwise is a free subscription. No, there's nothing that you need to pay. This can be an opportunity for us to at least pitch also for the paid version, which is the audio magazine. No, regardless people would like to listen to our pitch or what, ang kinagandahan nito is we get more people to listen to the Word of Life, and we just don't know what is the impact of reaching out to other people and giving them a copy of Word of Life. I could remember when I was in high school, I was bringing the Word of Life, a printed one. It was inside, folded inside my wallet, no? So every now and then, pag magmi-meeting yung mga Gen, I would be able to pull it out and then read, no? So how much more when it's more convenient like this? It's an app. You can have it on your phone and you can download it once and you can use it offline from then on. So kindly invite your friends once it makes your life better. Para naman, the moment mag-invite tayo ng mga kaibigan natin, they would see that in our life, the Word of Life has a big effect. So yan. And then, this is one of the questions that I would like us to ponder about is how many of our family members and friends can benefit from the stories of the New City Audio Magazine. If you find those friends of ours or your family members, if you can see that they can benefit from this, please share it to them, no? So that we can reach out to more people, no? And at the same time, if those people we can reach out to, in later on, as a response, they can help us with our entrepreneurial pursuit kasi kailangan din ng resources ng audio magazine for it to survive financially, no? We can be able to present, we would be happy if you would present to them as well the paid version of the audio magazine, which is like 600 pesos per year. Sobrang baba nun, as in sobrang affordable, no? So yeah, this exchange of value would be really nice, no? For the audio magazine and for everyone else. It's a win-win situation. So we would really like to become seriously entrepreneurial and at the same time live the life of unity with a dash of kindness. So finally, we would like to ask each and everyone looking forward, no, beyond this pandemic, what stories would you like us to share? If you could help us, the editorial board, tell us what kind of stories are you interested about. And then also, if you have stories that you think can make an impact in other people's lives, please tell us. Go to magazine.newcityph.net and maybe we can feature your story, drop us a chat, or you can go to our Facebook page and just say hi to us and we would be happy to listen to your stories and at the same time listen to your requests. No? So yeah, I think that's it. Umabot na ako ng 10 minutes. Sobrang compressed, but I'm so happy and very happy that we were able to live this 1 year together, listeners, voice artists, and at the same time, people from New City, no? All of us working together. So let's help each other, and I hope everyone would all be safe, especially at this moment na hindi pa tayo nakakalabas ng tuluyan from the experience of the pandemic. So ingat po sa ating lahat and have a nice day. Maraming salamat and God bless.
Thank you very much, Edward. Thank you for this Nice presentation. I agree with him. No, this is something that we can help one another with. This is, we help one another. We send feedback. It's much appreciated. We want to know what you want to read, what to hear. Any comment, any suggestions, you can put them as Edward already mentioned. No? And also, syempre, more importantly, for the entrepreneurial aspect, it would be nice to maybe subscribe or for those who have not yet renewed their subscriptions to the audio magazine, do so now. Everything's online. Gio?
Yes, no. So it's really nice to hear this update from Edward. Really, thank you very much for that update. It's nice to also know what can be done to improve. And let's all heed the appeal of Edward to install the app in case you have not yet installed it. It's nice, no? And it's also true what he said, no? That we need to also hear from our readers what would be the stories or articles that they would be interested in. It's nice to know also. So I think we're on the right track with this audio magazine as the New City continues to be at the service of a more united world in this digital age. Now, let's listen to the update on the current status of New City and where its direction will be in this coming year. Friends, let us welcome our Managing Director, Mr. Rome Vital.
Thank you very much, Gio. Good afternoon to each one. Good afternoon to each one of you. Thank you for being here. It is of great joy to see you. We feel your love and support to New City just with your presence today. This part of the program, although brief, will surely be of help to get you involved more actively in the life of this first opera of the opera, the instrument invented by Cara as a vehicle through the New City magazine and books to plant the seed of the charism of unity and the culture of a united world in the hearts of many. Cara indicated a very clear goal for New City in January 2006 in a meeting with the representatives of the New City spread all over the world. And she said, our goal, referring to New City, is to be pathway to fraternity, a means of dialogue at all levels, and an instrument of communion and oneness. This is a very aim and goal of the Focolare movement. All these years, we have become witnesses in one way or the other in the way New City has tried to put this into action. In trying to be faithful to this mandate, New City has also learned to adapt to the changing and challenging times, especially in this time of the pandemic. Many of you were caught by surprise that due to the unfortunate series of events caused by the pandemic since last year, we decided to suspend indefinitely the printing of New City magazine after its December 2020 issue. This decision was reached after much consultation with people who have direct responsibilities on the operation of New City Press, both here in the Philippines and those from the center of the Focolare in Rome. It was not an easy decision, but it was what we needed to do to contain the downtrend of New City's financial capacity. In the same manner, we see the opportunity to make a significant step so that New City can respond to the growing demand of digital formats. In July 2020, the New City audio magazine was launched. It is a new way of reaching out to the people who have desired to continue to be nourished by the charism of unity amidst the prolonged lockdown. In fact, since our launch at the height of the pandemic, we have almost doubled our goal of subscriptions from our original goal of 500 subscribers to around 900 at the moment. After a period of engagement with the subscribers, we saw that a tangible step needs to be done if we wish to retain this number and increase the reach more substantially. That means striving to be more present where the people are, in digital channels, to provide alternative digital ways is the direction that we are considering in order to move ahead. It is on top of our priorities. We know that this is a real challenge, also because realistically, we need to measure up to the resources that we currently have. As Edward Illustrissimo said to me in one of our conversations, and I would like to quote him, there is a lot of opportunities in the digital sphere, but I believe that the opportunity we should prioritize as of now is how we can nurture the current subscribers that we have. Once we have seen a tangible positive pattern, that's when we think of developing new avenues of growth. And he continues, the key is focus. Yes, the key is focus. The audio magazine was an inspiration, fruit of much unity among us. In fact, it is a very new product in the digital market. Just to let you know, from among the more than 30 New City International editions, only New City Press Philippines have ventured on this. We thought of it as an instrument in order to create communitarian digital atmosphere, where we serve through digital content while we receive financial gain of subscribers' retention. This is just a partial view of the current reality of New City, because we also have the production of the books. Distribution of books has also been greatly affected by the pandemic. In fact, from last year, we were only able to print 3 titles. Here too, much consideration has been done. We ventured on digitizing some of our books to test the waters, but the limited and exclusive titles that we have did not permit us to move further. One thing promising that I would like to mention here is the establishment of Catholic Book Center, Inc., CBCI. This is the newly approved official distribution of books, formation, and religious materials owned by the Focolare movement. It carries the New City Press as its brand name or the trademark. With a wide variety of linkages, CBCI promises a robust circulation of New City books. New City can now produce a variety of titles that CBCI can distribute openly and largely. This will surely make New City going and growing. We have heard from our, from Edward, no? Like other new cities spread in many parts of the world, NCP-PH is also called to step up and embrace the world outside its territory. In a while, we will hear our guest speakers speaking about the Nuova Global Initiative. NCP is called to begin making baby steps towards a more global impact. NCP-PH needs to embrace as its own the very vision of Nuova Global Initiative in order to contribute in weaving a global network for universal brotherhood. What does this actually mean for us? Simply, engage like-minded people to pursue local projects that push emphasis to the efforts being done by NCP geared towards building a more peaceful and united society. This is the new image of the New City Press PH that we would like to build together with you, starting immediately in this time we are living in the pandemic. And we will be guided by the very mandate given to us by the General Assembly of the Focolare movement to listen to the cries of humanity, the cry of the earth, and of the new generations. NCP-PH would like to become, more than before, a loudspeaker to amplify these cries so that they will be listened to through our collective efforts and concrete actions. On behalf of the whole NCP-PH, I thank the Bangko Kabayan, APSE, Kalayaan Engineering, SJTC, and FCTC, and those individuals and groups of people who came to the rescue and offered financial support so that New City may continue its operation amidst the blows of the pandemic. And to each one, our New City friends, subscribers, and supporters, our heartfelt thanks to you. To our previous Focolare directors, Ding Dalisay and Jun Boktai, we cannot say thank you enough for all the love and support you have poured to New City all these years. To Nar Plaras and Andrew Camilleri, our new Focolare directors, we entrust to your care and prayers the endeavors we will be engaging, certain that with your guidance, New City Press Philippines will move toward the path that Jesus wishes that it should take. I thank the whole editorial board and the voice recorders of the audio magazine for their dedication and their fervor. Again, thanks to all.
All right. Thank you, Romeno, for the beautiful updates on the present and the future of New City. Now we're able to understand more that with the suspension of the printed magazine, which was something that we were pressured to do because of the changing times, thanks to the situation we are in now, we have moved to a digital platform in order to continue to be at the service of people. And now we have this establishment of the CBCI, the Catholic Book Center Incorporated, with New City as its branding, which will hopefully help really to distribute and spread all the more, as one of the terms used earlier, to shout from the rooftops now all the more the message of the spirituality of unity and the contribution it can offer to the church and to humanity. All right. So we hope you had a good break. We were not lying. I have with me here the buko pandan salad for snacks. All right.
Padala mo nga dito.
we'll throw here.
Really wonderful.
Okay, so we're back. I hope you were able to spend your short break well, because that should be able to prepare us for the next parts of our program this afternoon. Right, so now we call on someone who is also with us, but in the same roof with Tita Jenny. We call on Tito Gino Bulan.
Unmute, please.
Hello. Sorry for that delay. So good afternoon, friends. My name is Gino Bulan. So I'm here to introduce our keynote speaker. But I'm also the country director of Consulus Philippines. And I will also be more involved in a deeper way with New City, as I will be joining CBCI. So it's a privilege for me to introduce my friend this afternoon, Mr. Stanislav Lenz, also known as Stan or Stano to his friends. He is chairman of the Consulus Global Network and concurrently regional director for Consulus Europe. A few highlights on his academic background include studies in mathematics and physics and Comenius University in Slovakia. These foundational studies was supplemented by a 2-year course on theology, philosophy, sociology, and social ethics in Italy. This led him through a corporate career in companies such as Plough, Siemens, Atos, Innovatrix, and now he has found his home in Consulus. In his corporate life, Stano devoted a lot to making organizations, technology, communication, and processes serve people. In his free time, Stano devotes himself to various volunteering and community development projects in Slovakia and abroad, some of which are linked to the Focolare movement. Now, more importantly linked to our meeting today, our chairman also takes the lead role in the for Consulus in the Nova Global Initiative, which aims to strategically strengthen the connection of New City to its purpose and to fulfill this purpose sustainably. So friends, I am proud to present to you our esteemed chairman and colleague, Mr. Stanislav Lenz.
Thank you so much, Gino, for this nice introduction. I want to say in the beginning that I'm really very humbled and pleased to be here with all of you in this special moment for New City Press Philippines. And I remained so happy to see this large family of people devoted to bring unity into the society. So let me start with my promised guest's speech at this marvelous event. I was asked to share some thoughts about the past and present of this key communication tool for the charism of unity, started by Chiara Lubich in the 50s of the last century, and to dedicate few thoughts to the last evolution stage of it with the Nova Global Initiative, as already mentioned by my four speakers, in which Consulus Global Network is acting as a partner in a particular way in the person of Lawrence Chong, you know already from last year, and myself. As you might know, and it was mentioned already today, towards the middle of the 50s, Chiara Lubich and the people around her thought of new instruments, more modern and suitable, to spread the ideal of unity. The idea of a newspaper was born. Seeing it already somehow realized, Chiara Lubich announced it on the 4th November of 1955, dwelling also on the topics to be covered: economics, art, philosophy, nature, medicine, science, politics, communication, religion. The 14th July of 1956 marked the birth of the first issue of the newspaper, which was a few copies printed on the mimeograph, as Rome mentioned. On the 5th March of 1957, the magazine was printed in a normal printing house near Piazza Navona in Rome, with a circulation of 5,000 copies. Now, let us dive into a few thoughts with which Chiara Lubich defined and fine-tuned along the years the purpose of Città Nuova, since this is of light also for our present days. And we use them later as a benchmark to understand once again how the Città Nuovas around the globe correspond to Chiara's legacy, and also how to shape the Nuova Global Initiative. So let us listen to some of her words. From April 1970. To find its formula in structure and content, the magazine must not think of the movement, but of the world and of humanity. Later, from August 1987. What God did was this. He didn't want us to build hospitals, because there is a charism here, which means the Holy Spirit at work, who therefore gives inspiration and ideas. Later, some say the articles are often too stiff. There has been too much filtering and too much checking, inspired by an exaggerated prudence. So what happens to the charism? They send it to sleep. The Holy Spirit is not happy with this. You have to take risks, even if they criticize you. We must keep going on our path of the ideal, and that's it, at all cost. Later, in 2006, Città Nuova wants to create public opinion and be available to those who in one way or another share the ideals of peace, justice, freedom and truth, of unity. Città Nuova is yeast, salt and light. And once again, Città Nuova magazine wants to be a path to fraternity, a tool for dialogue at all levels, for fellowship, for unity. In recent years, after Chiara Lubich passed away and the movement had to face a new era of its foundation, in a series of economic crises and dramatic changes in the world of communication, the Città Nuovas around the globe started to face new challenges. For this, after the General Assembly of 2014, a journey was started among the Città Nuovas and the central councillors for the aspect of communication of the movement of Focolari. The aim was to analyze these challenges and to find and implement strategic and operative solutions. At a historic meeting in April of 2019, they decided to involve an external consulting partner. Eventually, after long discussions and the evaluation of proposals, methodologies, and talent resources, Consulus Global Network was chosen as a strategic partner. These are the three main objectives we received as an assignment for the Global Città Nuova initiative, as we called it in the beginning. In this global crisis, the first of the media and publishing market, to find an innovative solution to enable the idea of a united world with global impact. The second one, harness the treasures of the worldwide grassroots presence of the movement and of Città Nuovas. And the last, create a feasible, sustainable, and phased implementation plan for finance, organization of talents, resources, and tools. Now, by using the approach of See, Judge, Act, let us dive into explaining the entire intent, now entitled as the Nuovo Global Initiative. Now, at this point, remembering the way Chiara defined the role of Città Nuova, we have to say that in everything that Chiara did, whether she talked about the society, about the church, or about the economy, she went beyond the obvious. So these questions are like trying to see what Chiara would see in the world now. So what we can see beyond the obvious today, with all the rise of fake news, with this insistence on nation first, and all this narrow emphasis on just the economy alone to solve all problems, it shows to us that this is a world in need of a new vision. Our situation today is very similar to the time of Chiara. We can recall her thoughts by walking down the streets of post-war Rome in the meditation, The Resurrection of Rome. It is important to note that for Chiara, God is infinite, yet not just love. He is a God of solutions. So with that perspective of the infinite God, it is easy to understand how all the instruments of the movement came about. When Chiara said that the movement is part of the Second Vatican Council of Renewal, and seeing her habit of putting new this and new that to everything, new city, new humanity, and so on, it is very clear in Chiara's method that the movement's approach is an entire and systemic transformation, a total transformation of society. In fact, if there could be another name for the Focolare movement, it is newness. And every conversion story of those attracted to the idol of Chiara has a common characteristic. They saw things in new ways because of the gospel, and with new eyes. So this presents a specific kind of platform in the Focolare movement. The platform that Chiara Lubich presents to us and to the world is systemic in relationships, systemic in transformation of institutions, and systemic in thinking. Then you cannot take Chiara's charism apart. You cannot say that the Focolare movement is just for the interreligious dialogue, or just for the church, or just for the economy of communion. It doesn't make sense, because it is all interconnected. So this is the legacy that Chiara has given to Città Nuova to transmit to the world, an interconnected and systemic perspective. Something that we will always have to find new ways to evolve in order to deliver on this mission. This is the reason, too, why it is significant what Chiara wished for Città Nuova in her quotes and in the way she said about Città Nuova. At this point, I'd like to clarify one thing. When we as Consulus do similar work for other Catholic organizations or for other organizations, we have to review the founder's original intent. For example, we reviewed a university that belongs to the Ursuline order. The words of their founder, Saint Angela Merici, needed a lot of interpretative lenses when we thought to discern her intent for our times. But in the case of Chiara, when she spoke about Città Nuova, it was very specific and clear, and we felt that we had to be faithful to those words and not give too many excuses to consider them any lesser. So, based on what she said about Città Nuova, she wanted it to inspire. She wanted Città Nuova to gather insights, future thinking, and she wanted Città Nuova to be innovative, which the New City Press in the Philippines is, as we have seen, right? These are characteristics that we cannot remove because these are like the foundational mandate for Città Nuova. Also, we cannot simply look at Città Nuova and say, okay, there are other news agencies that do like this, that do like that, let us follow them and do the same. No, we can't, because we would contravene the founding mandate of Città Nuova. That means Città Nuova cannot be just about good journalism, but a journalism that inspires and changes the world. So then, with such a vision set forth by Chiara, the challenge is how do we make it workable and relevant in present? Since October 2019, when we began with the initial reviews leading to the in-depth study of the market and of all the Città Nuovas in terms of their talent, capacity, influence, network, this was our conclusion. We have seen that the challenge about Città Nuova is not the inspiration, because its inspiration is very unique and very attractive. But the biggest problem is in business management, the execution of the work and the ideas. It is like if this is a car that is supposed to drive to a certain speed, at a certain speed, and we know where to go with this car, but we see that the engine is not working quite well. So it is an engine problem, not because the car is not needed, not because the destination is not desired. It is such a big challenge to run these magazines with a lack of professional experience. Many people have literally given their lives to enable Città Nuova continue along the years and decades. So what we have noticed over time is the scale of the ideas or the ambition for the vision of a united world became smaller and smaller. But the good news is this is a problem that is solvable. At least we know it is just an engine problem and not because such a car has no use. So we have identified 4 issues. Firstly, there needs to be a more professional way to manage and to do fundraising. Secondly, we must say that many Città Nuovas are trying their best, but they are doing it alone. And this is not the time to do things alone, but in synergy. Then, in such a competitive market like the media, it is very important to have a strategy and methodology to be clear-headed about the impact of the magazine and the books. And finally, it is very important to help every Città Nuova to upgrade their capacity to be sustainable. So in this proposed strategy, there are 3 components. They are not new in the media world. There are other non-profit organizations that have similar structures. And I want to clarify that what the movement is trying to do is actually on a very small scale. For example, other foundations are trying to raise sounds like $50 million a year, and we are trying to raise less than $1 million a year. And one remark, dear friends, if you read about organizational research on terrorism, do you know how much money are the terrorists trying to raise? that are trying to raise hundreds of millions through donations and illegal businesses. This just to illustrate that those who do evil are better at fundraising than those of us who are trying to do something for the united world. After evaluating the existing categories in magazines and publishings, the strength of Città and the network linked to the movement, we are confident that in these 4 content pillars, we can bring something new and unique. We talk about economics, politics, religion, and education. And we have worked out a financial model through a variety of activities that this global initiative can be sustainable. There was a question whether we should consider closing some of the local Città Nuovas. We are convinced that if we close the local Città Nuovas or some of them, this entire strategy simply cannot work, because it's the local Città Nuovas that give us a unique presence on the ground and in the world. But the local Città Nuovas often do not have experience in fundraising and management. They are good journalists, yes, but not people with the commercial skills to survive in a competitive media landscape. This is the real reason why they are not sustainable. So we foresee that we can easily solve this financial structure with transparency, accountability, through the setup of a dedicated foundation. And the Global Nova Foundation, as a separate unit, can help them to manage projects and build capacity for the local Città Nuovas. I must say that there has been a lot of creativity at the local Città Nuovas in the past and now, and this despite all the difficulties, and it is important to recognize that. Their perspective and the community they have built is hugely valuable to the movement. In business strategy then, it is important not to be simplistic, to just simply focus on cost by assuming that if we cut them, then sustainable growth happens. Businesses succeed in reality on the basis of creativity, unique value, and then good management of resources, which include, of course, also costs. Cost is easy to cut, but once you lose passion and creativity, that is very hard to recover, very hard to build again. So the local Città Nuovas have something priceless, which is passion and creativity that we can harness. So we go to the third word of the trinomial, act. We asked the General Council in 2020 to consider a reorganization of Città Nuova network to strengthen their capacity and to permit us to commence phase 1 of the project, which is to speak with possible partners and secure their financial support before we go into implementation of the entire project. We talk here about 3 main points. Firstly, to set up a global magazine for global influence with a specific aim on global leaders. Secondly, to professionalize the local Città Nuovas, and the global unit will give them tools, training, and opportunities of project collaboration to upgrade their capacity. The third thing is to group all local Città Nuovas under this foundation. This is something very important, as we need to be able to explain to local and institutional donors what are Città Nuova trying to do in the world, what is their impact, how will we use their money, how do we ensure that their money impacts a united world, but specifically in the area of news and journalism. We have seen that if we have these 3 sets of tools, it is easy for us to revive Città Nuovas around the world and make them far more sustainable. We saw that it was the start of a very beautiful relationship. The local Chitanovas can continue to be focused on their countries and be close to the community. Then, the global magazine can be focused on global issues and leaders. And this entire relationship in unity with the center of the movement. Even if the COVID-19 presented a lot of challenges for this project, we managed to gather all the key people from local Chitanovas in March 2020 via Zoom for 3 days of intense, indeed intense workshop. There were moments of doubt, questions, but also many moments of joy, peace, and wisdom. Everyone tried to look at the project from their perspective. It was a period of creative tension, probably similar to the experience of the upper room as the apostles waited for the Holy Spirit. Among them were fishermen, tax collectors, pious individuals, all very different, but eventually lighted by the fire of the Holy Spirit. So they set forth to conquer the world. Likewise for our workshop, we had a great variety of individuals, but in the end, we found a way forward together. We could say it was a refounding of Chitanova as a global strategic instrument for the united world. And everyone agreed that this approach is needed. This slide summarizes our analysis and proposal to solve the problem of finance and the one of implementation. In this Nova Global initiative, we need the two interconnected elements of Nova Global Media and of Nova Global Foundation. In this first year, which is running, our focus is to get institutional financial support and to make sure that it works well. What we are doing is that we are prototyping. And like any prototype, we needed to be prepared to tweak due to the dialogue with the partners. The most important thing for us is to ensure that we can fulfill our purpose for Chitanova and sustain it too. We have already assessed that it will be difficult for the movement to support this financially, so we are doing a lot of work to secure financing and opportunities also from other sources. At the same time, we are not adopting just a fundraising approach. From day one, we have sought to develop real project opportunities that can be paid for. This is what Consulus, through our global network, present in 16 countries, is committed to do with the center of the movement. The key is to aim for the first $500,000 through either fundraising and projects. The moment we reach this amount, we will be able to update the center of the movement that we have the sign of the Holy Spirit to proceed further. Coming to the end of my speech, in summary, what is this novel global initiative about and what will it bring? Planned over 5 years, the initiative has 4 aspects: strengthening the new city locally, building a global network, launching a new media platform for global leaders, and creating a global foundation. Each Chitanova was born out of a particular community of movement members and friends, and each has created unique networks. This is an incredible legacy of dedication, of testimony, of life, impact, and experience that can never be lost. A global media platform will be launched to support leaders in businesses, in politics, in education, in religion, and in business and in civil society, with actionable solutions for a more united world. Leaders who want to act for inclusion and economic sustainability, and who want to observe the values of peace, brotherhood, responsibility, and human dignity, they need a space to meet and connect with others like themselves, a place to find inspiration and ideas towards new solutions, to today's global and local challenges. And finally, the creation of a global foundation aims to raise funds for the development of the media, enabling them to attract and pay talented professionals. You might ask how you can support this project. Firstly, definitely by supporting New City Press at the local level, financially, by volunteering, by networking, by contributing themes and topics. Each new city is only as strong as its community of supporters and contributors. Secondly, by supporting the Nova Global Initiative, connecting it with personalities, with opinion leaders who share its goals, helping it raise funds for its cause, and by supporting our activities and pilot projects. For the moment, the project of inclusive economy and the project of innovative Africa. If interested, you can get more information on them on the social networks of the Nova Global Initiative. Just search for Nova Global on Facebook, LinkedIn, Internet, or YouTube. We are also particularly open to the contribution and commitment of young people. We are also looking for private and institutional donors who share our conviction. We are also looking for partner organizations among NGOs and institutions working in the fields covered by our field of action. So let's not be afraid to take risks while remaining faithful to the ideal of fraternity and unity carried by the Focolare communities.
Thank you very much, Tano. That was wow, so much to take in.
Definitely, Tita Jenny. Thank you again, really, Tano. It was very, I don't know if enriching is just an understatement. I think there's so much to pour in that I think after this, if it's not only time consuming, I would suggest we do breakout rooms to really materialize what you have said. It's something very fruitful. I like very much what you said on the importance of how can we build a more sustainable new city, and that's through synergy, strategy, and skills. And in doing so, we give another S, which is a space for people in order for us to respond to the needs of the times with the contribution of the spirituality of unity. I think that is a very important factor that you have emphasized, and it's a good reminder for all of us, particularly the one when the part where you said that New City is only as strong as its network of supporters. So this one, I think hit hard for me, because that means, and I hope it did for all of us who are here, following here on Zoom and Facebook Live, that New City can only stand as we also stand with it, right, Tita Jenny?
Yes, very good. I like very much what you said, Stano, about the engine. I think that's the thing that we have to focus on in these days. So on that note, we would like to open the floor to questions from those who are here. So you may raise your hands, or you may write your questions on the chat box. But anyway, so to get the ball rolling, I would like to ask you first, Tano, given the Nova Global Initiative and New City Philippines as one of the local Chita Nova that is also ailing, would you have anything concrete in mind, how we can align or work well with the vision of this initiative?
Well, what I can say that we felt from the very beginning a very intense harmony with people from New City Press in Philippines, not only with them, but in particular way with them, with Jose Aranas, with Rome, and with others. And I have to say that we were really amazed in seeing on how you launch yourself, how you were able to follow up almost immediately during the COVID crisis with going digital, with being there where the people are listening to. And I would say it's important just to continue on the track. And we have seen that this phase is very important in order for the global team of Cheetah Novas to work together. And this is what is happening, to gain mutual trust, to find out that the methodologies and approaches and ways of communication are working. And this came through, and this we've seen, for example, at the moment of the official launch of the Nova Global Initiative in the end of June, or with preparing coordinated communications on the social networks. So this is working. And this is the basis where we have to build on. So having confirmed that the approach is correct, and having confirmed based on pilot projects that we have the mutual trust, and that the engine starts getting higher rounds, I would say. But I could only add on what the both of you underlined. I mean, to believe really that the engine, it's just a technical thing, because the message is there on one hand, and that really every new city is only as strong because there is this grassroots element as the community behind. This is something we have to learn in these times, to be more one thing as the movement. But we will get there. We will get there. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Gio, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Stano. No, in fact, right now I'm following the chat here, and we're also receiving some inputs from Facebook, and they're all really thanking Stano. I think they're still digesting a very informative presentation from Stano. So while waiting for other questions, I also have a question in mind, Stano. How do you see, what does the future look like for New City once the entire process or strategy or the mechanism that you have presented to us works? What does the future look like for New City then?
I would say very simply, look at the young generation, because they are already there in the space of the communication in a very natural way. We are still loving too much also the old instruments, the old ways of communicating. Of course, we cannot put away the good and the proven. In a certain sense, there are a lot of good approaches in the media and in journalism which were defined in the beginning of the 20th century, to say so, right? But we have to learn this freshness, this ability to penetrate to new spaces, use new technologies, simply be there where people are, talk there where people are listening, listen there where people are talking and posing their questions. And we can't do this only by combining professionality, ability to innovate, and ability to listen, and the ability to knowing what is our purpose in a very, with a lot of inner freedom.
You know, Stano, I like what you said, because many of us are alike in that thinking, trusting new technology as a means to reach the most number of people today. And the young people, it's like an instinct. It comes naturally to them. We saw a question here from Kit and Jane. I'll read it to you. It seems that Consulus has spent a lot of investment here. How can you recover these costs? Thanks.
I like this question. But I mean, I said it. But while starting to give an answer to this question, I want to say this. We feel strongly in Consulus that our spiritual roots, which help to develop our professional experience in business innovation, in business strategy, in helping companies to find their purpose and to build on it in unity, in strong professional relations. All this is fruit of unity. All this is inspired by Chiara's charisma. So in a certain way, we feel also that we are giving back to what we received. But nevertheless, I said it already, so I want just to stress once again on it. We are a partner of the project. We are not an external consultant who came and being paid said, you could do this. We are a partner, which means we are investing also into the project. We are investing it because we believe in it, right? And yes, I mean, it's almost obvious, and like in similar cases, this means that we believe that we are able to succeed, that we are able to fundraise, and we are able also to put on various activities which will be then eventually financially sustainable, right? And that this will bring back the investment which we put into the project.
All right, thank you, Stano. There are new questions that came in. So this one is from Tita Cres Gabihan. Is the amount to be initially raised representative of the global Chitanova family?
Yes, while thinking of what should be the initial amount of money is on one hand mirroring the typical revenue of the Chitanovas as of now around the globe. And it's in a certain sense the minimal amount of money which can help us to build solid basis for the structures of the foundations to start work.
All right, thank you, Stano. There's one more question from Tita Tina Bonifacio. Stano, what particular expertise are you referring to when you said that we have to improve our methods? What competencies are we missing?
In Consulus, we are building on an experience of combining all the needed knowledges and expertise together in the project. So in this sense, but this is varying from Chitanova to Chitanova. In some, it's a lack of professionalism almost in everything because it's done in a very I would say based on a passion. This is when we look at the small Chitanovas. Then the bigger Chitanovas usually have journalistic talent, right? But not ability to manage a mediatic project in today's time, right? In today's time, which where there are big pressures, big changes, and if one wants to succeed and gain impact, this needs to be organized in a very innovative way, right? And for the bigger ones, we've seen that sometimes it's also a combination of the fact that we do not believe so well in ourselves, and we are not so well able to combine all the various puzzles in order to really have an impact, right? Because also the major Chitanovas, if you talk, for example, about the number of subscribers, like mentioned before by Rome, thinking of our size of what we are offering, we should say, oh my goodness, maybe we should have like 5, 10,000, 50,000 of subscribers because we have something to say. So why we do not have them? And this is a serious question we tried to pose, and we did it, and this is also something we discussed in the workshop. What is happening if we have this content, if we are not able to attract people, if we do not have such an impact, if we are not impacting opinion leaders and leaders in the society? What is happening? We have to ask ourselves these questions. So we might think we are professionals, but we can only measure our success on the outcome, which is the impact, which is absolutely and uniquely the impact. Okay, in a certain sense, that is also an idea that if we believe in delivering a content, thinking of evangelization and so on, there is also this mission just to announce. But this is only a part of the mission of Città Nuovas, because we have to be in the society, we have to be connected to the society. Because if we are not, people cannot listen to us. And we see that if there are not enough subscribers, if there are not many feedbacks, positive feedbacks from a variety of opinion leaders, of people who are important to the society, means we are not there, we are not connected to them, we are not talking about topics, and we are not talking about topics in the way people understand and people need to listen. And perhaps we are not doing it in the way we have to. Maybe being the servants of unity, being the servants, being the connectors, because it's not said that we have to be the experts, but we can be the connectors, for example. So we have to understand very well our role. And this is also a discussion about the ways of journalism we have to bring forward in the various cultural contexts in the world.
I think that was really beautiful, Stano, especially the one where you mentioned that it's important to be really sensitive of the impact that we have. So, and there is much, as you said, that we can offer, we can contribute, and it's not the fault of the spirituality, because the spirituality is good. It's just an engine problem, like the one you mentioned during your presentation. I think it links very well to this question that you recently answered. Now we move on to a few more questions that came in, like this one from Amata of Cebu. Thanks so much, Stano. Just a question. New City Philippines innovated the audio magazine. How can this local initiative help and connect on this global project of Città Nuova?
I mean, also in your case, I would say that you did a lot of effort. For example, someone had to code the applications, someone has to prepare the content, do the design and all the things. So I could ask, are you doing it based on volunteer work, or are you able to pay the people who are doing it, right? Or was this done based on a one-off financial gift to support this major change in the way of working, right? Then as of contents, are you building only on self-created contents? Perhaps you have the ability, especially as of books, to take from the New City Press from the States or from the UK. But are you able to get content also from other Città Nuovas? And then are you able to cover also global topics to be relevant in topics of politics, education, economy? Or are you more talking about ideas more tightly connected to the idol, to the gospel? Are you more sharing experiences of people, more personal experiences, or experiences of smaller projects? Or are you in the midst of a societal discussion on the most stringent topics which are happening as of now in the Philippines? Usually, the ability to cover is about being able to have, and since the worker deserves his pay, are you able to pay people who would write such contents? Are you able to pay professional talent from all these various aspects of the life of the society. So here I want to say content, capability building, exchange of experiences, eventually sharing of technological platforms, right, for spreading out contents or for raising money, for attracting smaller or major donors for advertising and so on. So there's really a systemic strategy which was elaborated on how the local Chitanovas can benefit on one hand and can give their input to the entire initiative.
All right. Thank you very much, Stano, for accommodating all the questions. Unfortunately, we could not accommodate all. We hope there will be another opportunity to do that. But nonetheless, it was a fruitful moment of dialogue for everyone. And for sure, we all have something to take with us from this program. So to express our gratitude to you.
May I?
Yes.
May I cut in for a while?
Go ahead.
Stano, the questions that have come and continue to come is just, I think it's a good sign, no, that there are many people who are invested in this. So the Filipinos are a hopeful bunch. So let's hope that we can bring this ahead together. And for just a little commercial, no, there were many people asking how to subscribe to the audio magazine. We will post the link directly here in the chat box. All you have to do is click on that so that you can go straight to the subscription page. So Gio.
Yes, thank you for plugging that, Tita Jenny. And we hope that when time permits, Stano can also visit the Philippines in person. And, you know, if you can meet us and encourage us all the more, perhaps a session or two for New City Philippines or CBCI at the time. I can see Rome clapping his hands. All right. So to express really our profound gratitude to you, Stano, let us call on Ting Nolasco, member of the editorial board.
So on behalf of the New City editorial board and all those who have joined us today via Zoom, we would like to thank Stanislav Lenks, I hope I pronounced that right, the global chairman of Consulus, for his very insightful presentation that reminded us once again of the original vocation of New City as an instrument of unity and its relevance and mission today. I was also very much intrigued and excited about the Nuova Global Initiative, which I'm sure will give New City Philippines that much needed spark to continue to forge ahead in this new global environment that has dramatically changed due to the pandemic. So we are all very hopeful that united as one body under the Nuova Global Project, all the editions of New City all over the world will continue to become beacons of hope and unity for many. So thank you very much, Stano, and as a sign of our gratitude, we would like to present you with this certificate of appreciation.
Thanks so much, Ting.
Yes.
I felt really humbled in the moment of invitation, and I'm even more now really seeing all this interest, all this passion, which is here in the air. I can just promise if we collect the questions, I'm happy to answer them, and then we will find a way together with Rome and the others on how to. I mean, this is valuable content, which eventually can be also then published in a moment, or simply we'll find a way how that the answers can come to people who ask. And I just wanted to say a hello, if you allow, to Shinti, to Giuseppe Arsi, because I'm so happy to see him here because we are old friends. And last but not least, I have to say that, okay, I said I in my presentation, but there is an entire team behind me, so which were in a certain sense present with me. And there's also this entire team of the Chitanovas around the globe, and the team in the center of the movement, the counselors for the red, for the violet, and many other people who are believing and supporting this project because of the idea, because of our faithfulness to it. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Stano. All our unity.
Now we would like to hear a few words from the co-director of the Focolare movement in the Philippines, Mr. Andrew Camilleri.
Thank you very much. Hi, Stan. I'm very happy to hear what you have said. Also, thank you for everyone, also the address that Rome has given, and also all of you, now in a special way. Well, good afternoon to everyone. I was asked to say something about this call to action. So I've prepared some notes, so I'll try to share them with you. I hope you find them interesting and we can put them into practice immediately. As it has been said quite a couple of times, No New City is an instrument of communion and unity, geared towards achieving the prayer of Jesus that all may be one, working on the promotion of harmony among people and every race and creed. Now, how shall we connect our mission, as it has been expressed by so many inputs now at the beginning of this event, and also this new Nova Global International Initiative project? Now, how can we put them together? Well, from my personal experience, New City helps us to translate the ideal that we have received from God as a gift into a very concrete reality of our day-to-day life, which changes. We are seeing during these past 2 years how life has changed so much, either because of the eruption or even because of the pandemic. And so, to help us have a better perspective on this, I would like to mention the 3 essential points that came out during the General Assembly in February 2021. This is a way of connecting with all the world, and even the General Assembly, as you know, was built over so many inputs, over 3,500 inputs from all over the world, not only of single persons, but also of groups of persons. And it's a way to join forces together, as this reality of Nova Global wants to be, no? So we believe that today the actualization of the charism of unity takes place if we allow ourselves to be challenged by the reality in order to love it. This is what the final document says. To this end, we propose to immerse ourselves in the charism and its light by listening to God, who speaks to us in the cry of humanity, in the cry of the planet, in the cry of the new generations, as already Romain mentioned earlier. I'll take one by one and maybe give some example on a local level. Listening to the cry of humanity. The current pandemic has exposed many contradictions, we know very well. Although society appears strongly connected, it is unbalanced, both in relationships and between social groups and individuals. Faced with this scenario, we want to respond to the cry of humanity that echoes today in all those who in whatever way are silenced, suffer, are abused, and excluded and seek their dignity. This is just a little bit of a summary of what the document says. But now, on a local level, we can say that the Focolare movement runs several social programs, you know very well. No? There's Bukas Palad, FCTC, Pagasa, and so many others. And besides, we are collaborating also with others, such as Facenda de Esperanza. We realize that there is a great need to act and promote concrete actions on rehabilitation, hospitalization, prisons, and so on. So this would be a place where we can get together, a platform, let's say, where we can get together to work together, to see how we can bring about the message of hope that you spoke about earlier. With regards to the cry of the earth, the document says, very briefly of course, in recent times, we are experiencing unprecedented natural disasters effect of the global warming and overexploitation of the natural resources. We know that it is the poorest and most disadvantaged who suffer the greatest consequences of this cry of the earth. There is a strong need to shift to an integral ecology. This requires the revision of our lifestyles, both personal and collective. We need to denounce the causes that threaten the planet, our common home. And on this aspect, as you very well know, one of the New City Achievement Award was given to Bishop Jerry from Nueva Ecija, if I pronounce it properly and if I'm correct. No, he is very much involved in the little by little phasing out the energy generation plants that work on coal, and of course generate a lot of global warming effects because of CO2 and so on. No? So why not join him on this project in order to help out? But not only this one, maybe we can brainstorm on other effects in order to help this help alleviate the cry of the earth. The third cry is the one regarding the new generations. Someone said at the beginning, let's link generations. And this is so much in line with what has been required at the beginning. No? Young people in general are challenging our society to build a livable world through their incisive questions and their appeal against injustice and unsustainability. We remember the girl Gerta, no? How much she has worked all over the world. It is a cry that urges us to avoid catastrophic climate change, to overcome inequality and embrace diversity with inclusion instead of exclusion. On this line, we can also help with this close collaboration between FCTC, the Focolare Carpentry Shop Training Center, and New City. Romeo was telling me that there has been a lot of work, fundraising in order to help those trainees who were on a program with FCTC, and because of the pandemic, they could not continue, and they needed this help just the same. So we can apply our talents addressing these three cries: the cry of humanity, the cry of the earth, and the cry of the new generations. Like-minded persons, as Romain mentioned in his address, we can say persons with the same passion can get together into small groups in order to find ways of committing themselves and actively participate to build a new and better world. This is nothing new in the opera. Already in 1985, Chiaro spoke in the same way to the Gem Fest of 1985, to the young people, no? So we have to put talents, or let's say passions, together in order to work for this better, a more united world. Of course, love is not complete unless it is concrete. So let us join forces and talents by drawing up concrete projects to alleviate humanity, earth, and the new generations. Any needed funds can be maybe sought through this Nuova Global International Initiative. This is what has just been presented, no? We have now a chance of communicating our ideas on a Padlet app, I believe, no? And your creative input is surely very precious and unique. So don't hesitate. Launch yourself and do your part. Let's do it together in order to bring about a new face of this new city. Thank you very much and good evening.
As he mentioned, we have the Padlet. The link will be put in the chat box right now. It is a venue or a space where each one of us can write our commitment statements. It is, for those who don't know, all you have to do is click on the link. And then there is on the lower right, there is a plus sign. You just click on the plus sign. And then on top, it will say their subject. Can you please put your names? And then you can put in your commitment statements and then just click on publish when you're done. We will do this as a community, as one family, given the enthusiasm that we all shared earlier. So we will have about a couple of minutes for this. So I think we have the link already on the chat box.
Jenny, again, you need to write something incredible. Ano?
It's here. You can click on the, I don't know if it's here, the Padlet. Do we have the link? Wait a minute.
It's in the chat box.
It says Facebook. Is this the one?
Yeah, ayun na. Yes, chat box.
Okay.
And Tita Jenny, no, it's also important to mention the name of who wrote on Padlet, right?
We have music to accompany us. So we have music to accompany. Everything.
All right, so while there is enough time for us to write on Padlet,
Sure.
so we can write on Padlet. We can do this is something where we create, so they're showing us a guide of, oops.
Ay, ano yung guide?
All right, so we'll wait for your responses on Padlet. We have enough time allotted for you to type in your inputs, what is in your heart at this time. And don't forget to write your name and the place where you come from. Thank you for that reminder, Joel.
Searching for a place, longing for that joy that's within you, a place where man never finds, where children never hunger, never die. Whoa, the walls of division crumble right before our eyes. Whoa, it's love among men will surely change our very lives. Ever have a change of heart? That's the way to start. To realize that if you do your part, that you can live for unity. Live for unity. A place where men live as one, as one. A world at peace. A place where men live as one, as one. A world at peace. A place where men live as one. There's a force which leads us on, bringing closer men of every race. This world will be one family, down the road to our only destiny. Oh, hatred and fear will never conquer us once more. Oh, together a world that's war. Ever have a change of heart? That's the way to start. To realize that if you do your part, that you can live for unity. Live for unity. A place where men live as one, as one. A world at peace. A place where men live as one, as one. A world at peace. A place where men live as one. Live for unity. Live for unity. A place where men live as one, as one. A world at peace. A place where men live as one, as one. A world at peace. A place where men live as one.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. We're going to keep this, and then we will. We'll talk about this when we see each other next year.
All right, so there are many beautiful inputs that already came in. Speaking of many learnings and renewal of commitment, there's also to make New City more attractive for the young people and to involve young people in the process. Yes. And then there's really, there are people asking for links how to subscribe or to renew their subscription. So I guess you can also, we'll send it here also via chat, or you can also check out the Facebook page or the website of New City Press Philippines, where you can access instructions for that one. And we're very happy to have you on board. Yeah. It's like we have our own Facebook here. You are commenting also on the posts of others. Yeah. So
Why not? It's a free space. Let's do it.
Yeah. Someone here saying, I commit to work for the fundraising of New City. Pero may typo, yung R naging E. So pwede rin naman fund-easing, no? So that it'll be, the business operation will be at ease. Smooth.
Okay. Salamat. We will keep this, and then we will start with this next year when we open the New City Day.
So thank you again for your inputs. And while we are winding down our afternoon now, in light of what we have heard so far, we wonder now what contribution New City can offer to the world of mass media today. So let's listen to our very own editor-in-chief, all the way from Italy, Mr. Jose Aranas.
Dear New City friends, I wish to share with you some points of reflection for this New City Day. Recently, I watched the championship football match between Italy and England, in which there is a tie between the two teams, and the game calls for an extension of 30 minutes. A grueling 30 minutes for the tired players after almost having played for 2 hours. I reflected that in this time of the pandemic, we are given an extended time. even penalties to reach more goals. For us in the movement, the one goal is clear: ut omnes, that all may be one. The pandemic seems an extended time, just like in a football match, or I may call it a borrowed time. We know that we are in a borrowed time, as some and loved ones have reached their final hour in this time of the pandemic. And we who are alive and with a bit of good health have been given still an extra time to contribute to our goal of unity and of universal brotherhood. So, what do I wish to do with my borrowed time? How can I contribute to our goal of unity in this extended time? For example, as a writer, as a journalist, I wish to write more articles, do more interviews, write children's stories that will help reach our goal of unity, write beautiful experiences and beautiful profiles that will inspire people to work for peace and brotherhood. Yes, not all of us have the vocation to be a writer, but we can allow God to write and complete His marvelous design in our lives. For example, as a teacher, as a parent, or in whatever status or big vocation in life we are in. A second point of reflection in this borrowed time: how do I allow God to write and complete His marvelous design in my life? These questions presuppose that we believe in God, the Father Almighty and Creator of heaven and earth, our point of origin and destination. As Chiara Lubich also discovered this during the time of war. She also felt that she was living in an extended time, as death and destruction were all around her. She let herself be guided by the Word, and with this, she discovered a new perspective to live our Christian faith, which is now the points of our spirituality. And the golden thread that weaves all these points of spirituality is God love, the love of God the Father who cares for us personally. To help us reach our goal of unity in our borrowed time, I wish to propose 3 attitudes which somehow God is teaching us in this time of the pandemic. First is humility. The pandemic made us humble. We learned humility, which has its origin from the word humus, the soil, the earth. We are reminded of our limits and that we need God. Actually, we are loved by God. This became clearer to me when I noticed that in the Gloria that we sing at Mass, on Sundays and feast days, the praise, peace to people of goodwill was now changed to people beloved by God, as approved by Pope Francis. At first, I was not used to it, and I prefer the phrase, peace to people of goodwill. But reading Pope Francis' thoughts, especially when he reminded us that we cannot reach salvation by our own will and effort and knowledge alone without God's grace. Humility makes us receive God's grace, that we need Him when we seem powerless. For sure, human intelligence through science will find the best cure for COVID and other illnesses in the future, which is always God's grace. but we will always be faced with our limits at a certain point like death. It takes humility to accept this reality and to trust in the love of God, notwithstanding the sufferings that we experience. Another attitude is the virtue of obedience. It comes from the Latin word ob audere, to listen to. We can reach our goal if we know how to listen to the voice of the Spirit or to read the signs of the times. I was deeply touched by a book which also became a film by R.J. Palacio entitled Wonder, about Augie, a boy who has a facial defect, and with his family and close friends, they overcome their struggles in life together. In one of the precepts taught by Augie's teacher, Mr. Brown, it says, if given the choice between being right or kind, choose kind, from Wayne Dyer. Obedience, that is listening to the voice of the Spirit, urges us to love and be always kind at all times. Lastly, gratitude. A humble and listening person is thankful. Chiara used to say, if I will be in front of God, I wish to be called grazie or thanks. As we also celebrate Mary's queenship today, the humble maiden from Nazareth, and whose humility and obedience made her utter the Magnificat, all generations will call me blessed, because she allowed God to manifest His love in her life, believing that His love will triumph over evil, as nothing is impossible with God. And so we wish to thank you, our New City friends, and to ask God's blessing for you for keeping up with Christ's goal of unity. Our wish is that we may sing together with Mary the Magnificat. Yes, raise up the humble, and all generations will call me blessed. Maraming salamat po for taking time to listen to this simple reflection.
Ayan, let's give a virtual clap for Kuya Jose. Thank you very much, Jose. Well said. And thank you for the beautiful reminder of the Feast of the Queenship of Mary. Again, thank you, everyone. And now we have come to the end of yet another New City afternoon. We thank you for your patronage and participation. Now, the future is uncertain, and no one has the blueprint or the master plan in their hands. All we have is now. So let's make it count. Let's remember to always live the present moment well and to the fullest.
Yes, let's remember to keep our gaze on our destination, guided by the compass of our true north. New City is the mouthpiece of the Focolare. It speaks to the world of the gospel, concretely lived. We invite everyone to share experiences and stories through dialogue in an atmosphere of being a family.
And so, before any brownout happens, this has been your hosts, Gio
and Jenny. Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe.
Let's have a photo together. Picture, please.
Yes.
Picture, please. Okay. Open. 1, 2. The first one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Next. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. Last. Open your 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. We also have participants from the US and Thailand.
You are Ciao, Bene. Happy birthday, Bene.